Welcome back, and today I thought I would start the weathering process with a little bit of salt weathering. I have covered a little bit of this in my falcon weathering video, but why not cover it briefly again. I'm going to be adding, there's on at least one of the studio models, I'm not sure how many they used for A New Hope, but on one of them they had, this panel here was kind of a grey chipped, had a grey chipped appearance, and I'm going to be doing that, and also distressing some of this other nose detail, and hopefully adding some of the piping and the final detailing. And then after that's done, I'll be going in with an iron colour and doing some streaking just to tie it all together, and hopefully that should be done. I'll also be painting up the base as well. So moving on. So we won't even be needing the paint cup today on the airbrush, we'll just be putting paint directly into there, because all these are very, very small areas. So I've just been looking at some reference before I start painting here, and it looks like I'm wrong about that one panel, but I've had that image of the Y wing in floating around in my head for the past several days, so I'm still going to go ahead and do it. Stuff it. So let's get started finally. So I've just added some just ordinary table salt just to the part, and before I just dabbed a bit of water on there. Pretty simple, and I'm just going to airbrush straight over it with a low air pressure, and I'll try and film that. Sorry, I still can't find my tripod. So there's the completed effect there. I'm actually quite glad I added it. It adds a lot to the nose, I think. I seem to knows what I'm doing. Oh my god, that was awful. So I'll be doing a little bit more chipping on the yellow pinstripe here, and maybe more on the canopy, I'm not sure. But so I've used the salt technique for this panel, and for this I'm actually going to do what another YouTube Kiwi has done, and used a sponge actually in some of the hull colour just to dab it on, and I thought it looked really, really excellent. So we'll show some of that next. It'll be a learning experience for me. I haven't used it before, but Model Chili turned out a really amazing build, so why not try it? So with that, I've just finished putting on all the piping, which completes the assembly, and it wasn't the funnest of exercises. It was actually quite stressful, but that's no worries. I only had a couple of breakages, but I'm about to fix those now, and also clean up some, because I painted them on the sprue and just glued them on, because I figured that would be easier overall than trying to get in here with a brush or any other means. So I'm just going to do some touch-ups and then go back with the weathering. Just a little bit of the, what am I using? Dark iron, how could I forget? Which is the same colour I used to do these weathering marks here. I just airbrushed those. I'm going to go over in a few select places just on the main body and just blend it all together, and maybe dull down a couple of those pipes. But yeah, that's essentially it. Next step is the base, and I'm just going to use the kit base along with a wooden one, just the sort of the same deal as my TIE Fighter build, and yeah, then we'll have a finished model, which I'm really chuffed about. I absolutely love these Bandai kits. It's really hard to make them look bad. I'm surprised with how well this one's come out. I had an image in my mind of what I wanted it to be, and yeah, this is. It's always a good day when you can say that you achieved what you were going after. So I'm really happy with that. I think my next kit might be the TIE Interceptor. The Bandai one model Chili did a really good build, and they look like fun. So yeah, we'll move on to, well, the next cut will be a finished model. More next. So this is how the Y-Wing's looking at the moment. Essentially finished, apart from a couple of small details. In fact, yesterday I thought it was finished, but I noticed that there was a stripe on the nose, a couple of stripes that I hadn't done yet. So I'm going to get to those today and probably shoot a little bit of video on the process of it. It's just more masking and salt weathering, but it's fun to do, so hopefully it's fun for you guys to watch. And then I'll let the paint degas overnight, and then we'll have a completed model, and I'll fix the kit base down to, I always feel like I'm making a terrible pun when I say that, but I'll be fixing the base down to the wooden slat that I have, and we'll have a nice finished Bandai kit, which I'm really looking forward to displaying and showing off. So the nose, now bear with me because this is a new camera and I'm just sort of figuring out how to use it. There we go. That's the nose there, and the striping is down just on the sides, and I really am considering repainting the cockpit canopy. Beforehand, I think in the video that I shot before, I had a lot less paint chipping in it. Honestly, I think it looked a little better when it was more subtle. So we'll see whether or not I actually go for that and repaint it. It wouldn't be really hard to do, but that said, I am happy with it anyway. And I absolutely love that I put the chipped grey panel at the front. I think it looks really, really quite cool. And I put a wash on the base there, so it's looking nice and tidy. Well, not tidy, that's the point of it. And honestly, these I've got the R2 or the R4 or whatever that droid's called. I don't remember. There's a really horrible story behind that character, which was until recently considered canon, but that's not the story anyway. That piping was really challenging, actually. I didn't appreciate how challenging it would be, but we got there in the end, and we just got some weathering. Come on, you beautiful thing. Just got some chipping on the nacelle there and some streaking, and hopefully this video is coming out nicely. As I say, I'm still learning how to use the camera, and it's sort of taking a while to focus in some places, so there we are. Please bear with me. And I do actually have some drippage. At the very last moment I decided to add some drippage, because these ships supposedly spend a bit of time on the ground as well. Focus please. There we are. I just had to pull the camera back a little. So I've got some vertical dripping there, and I think it adds quite a bit to the model as well. So yeah, overall I'm extremely happy with how this has come out. It's my favourite Bandai kit that I've ever made, and I'd love to do another, if only just to do another colour, really, red 3 or whatever. And yeah, I don't know what the next model will be. Well, I kind of do. I may do another Star Wars one. If I do another Star Wars one, it'll be the TIE Interceptor. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a mo when I get it finished. Well, it's time for a green tea, which means it's time to talk about a finished model, which in this case is the Y-Wing from Bandai. And yeah, I don't know if I have a load to say about it other than I enjoyed building it immensely. Yeah, fantastic hit. I would definitely do another one, and I don't know. I reckon it's kind of hard to screw this one up because it's put together so well. I'm gonna try and stop saying from now on because I think I say it a bit too often. So bear with me. But yeah, really loved putting this one together. It's hard to stuff it up. There I go. Number one. One of the things I think to take into consideration is that this model is so well engineered that a layer of paint on some of the inside pieces will cause it not to fit correctly, which is a good thing. I've mentioned that before. One of the things I was really happy with this build was the salt chipping, or the salt weathering. And if you look on the side of the nose, there's the pinstripe up around here. I mean, this kit comes with decals and stickers, right? But even the decals, and they're probably nice decals, I wouldn't know, I didn't use any. I really, number two, I really wanted to paint all my details, and actually I got to the end of the build, as you probably see just before this. I got to the end of the build thinking it was done, but I forgot to add that stripe in, so I very quickly masked it off and added some salt and painted it on, and they look really damn good for 5 minutes worth of work. I could have used the decal, but honestly it would have looked weird because the canopy is a custom Tamiya mix, and I wouldn't have gotten the same look if I used a decal. So I opted to leave off one of the nacelle caps. Pardon me while I take a sip of tea. I opted to leave one of those off because they were so well machined, well tooled rather pieces that they really screamed to be shown off a little. So they painted up quite nicely. On the other cap, the one I left on, I ended up painting with a brush the yellow trimming on it. Hopefully it's in focus, you can sort of see it at least. Looks kind of wee on my wee touch screen here, but I ended up painting that with a brush because I'd kind of forgotten about that detail, to be quite frank, and by the time everything was on, it was just, I started to mask it off, and that was going to be more trouble than it was worth, and I believe I covered that already, so I hope I'm not repeating myself too much. On the left, looking at it on the left nacelle, on the bottom there's some piping which you can actually see is coloured gold, and the reason that's coloured gold and not brass like the rest of it is because I lost that bit and I couldn't for the life of me find it. So I just cut a bit of brass piping that I had and put it on there, and I kind of like it. It looks nice and sort of by the seat of the pants it looks like it's just been stuck on there. So very rebel-like. And kind of interesting about that piping, I really, I mean, God, good on them for adding such intricate detailing when it comes to the piping, but I lost the will to live putting that stuff on. I painted them on the tree separate and just put them on individually, and then sort of touched them up from there and sort of weathered over top of it, but jeez, that was intricate to do. Kind of makes me wonder what the Flying Molds Falcon is like. Another detail I'm pretty happy with, actually probably the one I'm most happy with, is on the side of the canopy, just sort of over the yellow bit, there's some Tamiya dark iron, really close airbrush weathering, like wee streaks that head backwards. That's something I'm really proud of. I just took the cap of the needle off and sort of just drew it on, and that's how I like to weather. A lot of people use pastels and things, which is fine. It sort of gives sort of the same effect, but I'm such a airbrush ball swinger that I have to do everything with the airbrush, and I have a lot of fun with it. And another detail that I think I quite liked, and it's just a remnant of the thing being painted black before the base coat is on, the very ends here, I sort of let a lot of the black stay, and it kind of adds to that weathered feel, and quite a big fan of that. I'm also quite happy with the base. The caretaker at work here actually ran me off a few of these bases, and I can't remember if I've mentioned it in another video or not, but he ran me off quite a few of these bases because I sort of I said to him I was quite frustrated that I couldn't find any for my hobby, and he actually showed up while I was at work in the morning and gave me a whole handful of them, to which I'm really appreciative of. And I just stained it and epoxied down the base from the model, and yeah, just painted it a lighter colour than the Y wing itself, and gave it a wash and some airbrush weathering, and I think it looks quite nice. And I've got, I think, 3 of those wood bases left, so choose them wisely. I think he said he was going to run me off more of them, so not that he watches these videos or not, but thank you very much to John there, because yeah, he's a really nice lad, and yeah, really appreciate it. So that does it for the Y wing. Thanks very much for everybody who watched this build series. I think it's only in 2 parts, which is fine. They're not really intricately, well, they are, but you know, a lot of the stuff I've covered already. I don't know whether it's going to be the next video or not, because when I say and this X is the next video or Y is the next video, it never really turns out, just because of life really just sort of gets in the way and changes up your schedule when it comes to YouTube. So I'm not going to say when it's going to come, but right now I'm just working on the Excelsior, the NX version from Star Trek 3, and I might cover a little bit more of the build process of that one, because I did do a video on the Enterprise B, which you can go back and find a wee while ago, and it's essentially the same kit, and they're going to be a twin display, and I'll go into a little bit more into why later, but I'm going to build them and paint them in the same way, so they look hopefully like they're done by the same modeler, which is I kind of hope all my models look. But I'll be doing that, so I'll be covering a little bit more of the build process. As I say, for the Enterprise B, I only did what did I do for that? I did a video on just how I built. I think I just stuck the video of the model in front of the camera and spoke about how I built it, because straight after that I did the D7, and that was the first build that I showed on YouTube. That was the first episode. So going back to the beginning a little bit, that'll be the next one. And for another Star Wars kit, I'm really not sure. I was going to jump into the TIE Interceptor, but my schedule's about to get a little busy, so I don't know if I'll be able to do 2 kits at once. I'm still working on the Robbie the Robot. That's turning out to be a bit of a slow burn, but right now I'm really into the Excelsior at the moment. So who's to say what will be next? I just hope whatever the next video is, you enjoy it, and I hope you've enjoyed these 2 videos. And please, if you haven't seen any of my others, go jump on. I have quite a few of them there. And yeah, and Simon Merks, if you're watching, a good New Zealand phrase would be fish and chips.
Apparently we're famous for our fish and chips, and that's apparently how we say it, is fish and chops. Okay? So that's for you, Simon. I hope you get a lot of mileage out of that one. And thanks for the shout out on your video, by the way. It was my pleasure to help you, and all the best. Alright, I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye.